Tonight, from Hollywood, the Barbara Stanwyck Show.
Good evening. Tonight, we place our tongue in cheek and present a gentle spoof of the Old West. You know the West I mean, where every man is a fast-draw gunslinger and every lady works in a saloon. David Harmon and Albert Bike wrote the teleplay, and Lewis Allen directed it. My role? Now, believe it or not, I play the sheriff, but don't take it all too seriously. And now, in just 60 seconds, the first act of A Man's Game. In the old days, around 1950, Hollywood used to make westerns about Indians. Then the Indians gave way to cattle drives and cattle rustlers. But lately, the cattle in turn have retired in favor of the gunslinger. Here's one now, riding up to a cantina on the Mexican border in 1875. Notice that he's alone. The gunslinger is always alone, just riding through, minding his own business, until he runs into some fooled kid trying to make a name for himself. The kid calls him Yellow, so naturally he has to shoot the kid. And then he's disgusted. He hangs up his guns, changes his name, and goes west, somewhere beyond his reputation.
What will you have, Senor Stockton?
Whiskey.
Ben Stockton, is that you, Ben?
Hello, Billy.
They probably met in Dodge City.
Looks like you got yourself a predicament.
Yeah, I guess I have. You got a mind to help me out?
I don't know. This just might be your fight.
Well, now, what do you know? The great Ben Stockton, the top gun of them all. Billy Devers and Ben Stockton, two big gunfighters. This one is Yella. You Yella, Stockton?
Look, son, I'm just riding through minding my own business.
Devers, I think your friend here is Yella, just like you are.
Now, why don't you do yourself a favor, son? Come on home and sleep it off.
You think I'm drunk, huh? All right, draw, Stockton.
Thanks, Ben. Fool kid trying to make a name for himself. Caught me unawares. Well, I haven't seen you since Dodge. If ever I can do you a favor, Ben, you just let me know.
There's only one favor you can do for me, Billy.
Well, sure, Ben, anything.
Next time you see me, don't know me.
Well, where are you going?
I don't know. Somewhere beyond my reputation. I'm sick of killing kids.
Notice that old man with his white kitten named Snowflake? There's always an old man in westerns. Sometimes he's a doctor, but in this case, he's Judge Franklin. We'll see him again in about a year in the Oklahoma Territory where the buffalo roam. Sure enough, there's Snowflake. So the judge must be here, too. Yes, sir, here he is. And here's our gunslinger. Look, he shaved off his mustache and changed his name to Ben Whedon, dealer in buffalo hides.
What happened, Whedon?
Red Quincy took some pot shots at your cat.
A fine thing. Getting so a man or beast ain't safe on the streets anymore. Come on, Snowflake, you need a drink.
I'll go with you.
And here I am, Miss Chris Matthews. Where else? In my saloon, the Ace High. What was all the shooting?
Red Quincy.
What was he shooting at?
Snowflake. Gunfire always upsets her. She had a bad experience in her youth.
Oh, the poor thing. Give her a short beer, Joe, and whiskey for the gentleman. Where's the sheriff?
He's up on Boot Hill, burying that Englishman.
Oh, this isn't a town, it's a shooting gallery. We get every trigger-happy gunslinger west of the Mississippi. 2 sheriffs dead in 6 months. And that poor Englishman just trying to sell shotguns. They aren't men, they're Gila monsters.
Now, calm down.
Well, what's going to become of us? Families are leaving town every week. Look at that mirror. They're expensive. I have to freight them all the way out here from Kansas City. I own property here. I run a fine saloon. If this keeps up, who's going to drink in it?
The gunslingers.
That's just what I mean. I want nice, steady family men.
That's right. come in here, buy a few drinks, lose their pay, and go home.
Yes, that's right. Weren't you supposed to be in Red Bluff buying buffalo hides? What are you doing loafing around here this time of the morning?
I came in to make a deposit. Put those in the safe for me, will you?
You mean you sold the hides?
$2,000.
Well, how's she doing, Judge?
Oh, she's calmed down considerable. Thank you kindly. I'll take her home and put her to bed.
See you later, Judge.
All right.
What are you going to do with all this?
Spend it.
On what?
On a honeymoon.
Honeymoon? You and who?
You.
Well, Ben.
You must have known.
Well, I had an idea, but...
You never been in St. Louis, have you, Chris?
No, I've been in Kansas City.
Oh, that's a cow town. St. Louis is big. It's exciting. You know, we'll stay at the Lindell. That's where I stayed when I came up from New Orleans. You know, they got a marble floor in the lobby? And there's a string orchestra that plays waltzes for supper in the dining room.
When were you in New Orleans?
3 years ago. There was a steamboat race between the Natchez and the Robert E. Lee, so I got on the Natchez and the race ended in St. Louis. So I went in the beer business.
Didn't you like the beer business?
Nah, there's no future in it. That's when I came west to go in the cattle business. You'll love St. Louis, Chris. We'll get a big house out on Grand Avenue with stained glass windows.
You mean live there?
Uh-huh.
Well, what about your buffalo hides?
Oh, they're thinning out anyway. Besides, there's plenty of jobs in St. Louis.
What would I do with my saloon if we lived in St. Louis?
We'll get rid of it. It's not for you anyway.
What's the matter with the Ace High?
Well, nothing. As saloons go, it's a nice saloon.
You bet it is, and I'm not selling it.
Well, who'd run it?
We would. You could help me.
Me in an apron?
Do you know what your trouble is? You're a tumbleweed.
I am not a tumbleweed.
Oh, what do you call running around on steamboats and going in and out of businesses? That's what my father did, and he was a drifter, too.
I don't drift.
Oh, a year here, a year there. Not me. I built this place up from a tent. Now, you show me another woman who's done any better.
That's what I mean.
What?
Most saloon keepers that I know wear pants.
Well, most men I know carry guns.
Miss Matthews?
Yes? Oh, my new mirror.
Well, here she is, Chris. All framed and ready to hang.
Fine, Vic. Put it against the table until we get the old one down. Joe, you better clear the glasses. Oh, that's a fine job, Vic.
You want to come and get me?
That's our star-crossed sheriff. Agile, but marked for tragedy. That's Red Quincy. Hey, my mirror! Oh. Get away from that mirror! Nobody likes him much. He doesn't even like himself.
Say, those waltzes are Viennese. Did I mention that?
Oh, shut up.
That's the third, Sheriff, in 6 months. Job's open again.
Well, who's going to take it? Well, somebody's got to, or this town will end up a cow pasture.
Well, don't look at me. I got a wife and kids.
I'm busy running my store.
All right. Here's a job without an apron.
Who, me? Well, I'd have to wear a gun. I'm a city fella, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot. This job calls for a man.
Well, how about you? You're the best man of the bunch.
Well, I'm better than some St. Louis dudes I know. Look at him grinning. After that, what could I do but take the job myself? Chris Matthews, sheriff. How do you like that outfit, huh? That's how all lady sheriffs dressed in those days. Morning, gentlemen. You with the guns. Can't you read the sign? It means what it says. You know where I'm going? Out to take a jiu-jitsu lesson from the Japanese cook at the B-Bar X.
Judge, you mean to say you swore her in?
Well, I told her there's only pro-tem election next month. What else could it do? Ain't no law against it. At least no man-made law.
We ought to hold a mass meeting.
Oh, simmer down, boys. She won't last long.
What do you mean?
Today is payday at the Lazy K.
You know about the boys from the Lazy K. Not bad, just high-spirited. They like to ride in of a Saturday night, shoot up the town some, throw a little beer in the bartender's face. Naturally, no self-respecting sheriff can let this go on.
Here she comes.
Pretty wild tonight, honey. I wouldn't tangle with them if I were you.
Oh, don't be silly. They're just high-spirited, and don't call me honey.
Hey, you!
Put that bartender down! I said put him down!
Go away, Chris. We're just seeing if he can walk on his hand.
When I tell you to do something, I expect you to do it.
Hey, you're wearing a badge.
That's right, I'm the new sheriff.
Since when?
And if you boys want to stay in town, you'd better behave yourselves.
Well, I don't feel like behaving myself. What do you think about that?
That a new hat you're wearing?
Yeah.
See? Jiu-jitsu.
Those boys won't take that.
They won't draw on a woman.
You, pick him up and take him to jail.
To jail?
And the rest of you boys deposit your irons with the bartender. It's all right now. They won't hurt you.
More to this than meets the eye, boys. And I don't refer to the romantic situation of our friend here, but to a larger evil.
How's that again, Judge?
I'm speaking of women. I make a firm prediction. Someday they'll all wear pants.
Judge, I won't go that far. Congress will pass a law or something.
They'll probably be in Congress. Take Wyoming. They had a woman sheriff there for years. Why they even let women vote? Make no mistake about the female of the species. We know they're inferior. They know they're inferior. But will they admit it? On the contrary, they seize every opportunity to get out of the kitchen and the nursery, their natural habitat. I tell you, it's horrendous.
You're not running for sheriff, are you?
Why not?
Because it's a 4-year term, that's why. I'm not marrying you while you're sheriff, and I'm not waiting 4 years.
Well, no one asked you to. Not I.
Now look, Chris.
Why didn't you find someone else? Some frivolous little thing who likes running around on steamboats.
There's no steamboat races between here and St. Louis.
Or dancing all night in a marble lobby. That's what you want, isn't it?
Well, one thing for sure, I don't want to dance with a lady sheriff.
As you very well know, I only took this job because every man in town turned it down.
That's a lot of hogwash. You like being sheriff, strutting around behind that tin star, printing signs, making up a lot of rules and regulations. Just who do you think you are? General Grant?
Well, I know who I won't be. Mrs. Ben Whedon looking through some stained glass window.
But I don't want you looking through any...
Chris.
Billy Devers.
Now the plot thickens like a mulligan stew. There's that fellow from the border, Billy Devers. Are you Billy Devers?
Howdy. Do I know you? Say, what's that?
I'm the sheriff. I'm giving you until tomorrow to get out of town and never come back.
And if I don't?
I'll have to come after you.
Well, now, ma'am, that'd be real interesting. Is there a hotel in this town?
Palace Hotel just down the street.
Well, now, I'll sleep on your request and give you my answer in the morning.
See that? They recognized each other. Or did they?
Chris, don't let that preacher face fool you. Billy Devers can draw with the best of them.
For your information, this star is not tin, and I don't strut.
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Devers is no drunken cowhand from the Lazy K. He's a natural-born killer. He doesn't care who he shoots, men or women.
I know.
She'll get herself killed, sure.
You see, the judge knows that Ben Whedon is really Ben Stockton, the gunfighter. But Ben doesn't realize the judge knows this. Meanwhile, at the Palace Hotel, where the beds are hard and the crackers are soft,
Hello, Devers. It's me, Ben Stockton.
Hi, Ben. Well, I recognized you in the saloon, but couldn't be sure you look so respectable.
Well, the name's Ben Whedon now. I'm a dealer in buffalo hides. You?
Same as always. Well, what can I do for you?
That favor you promised me down on the border.
Why, sure, Ben. Glad to oblige. What is it?
Well, I aim to get married.
Married?
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad, Ben. How'd it happen?
I don't rightly know. Came on me real sudden like, no warning at all. One minute I was all right, and the next I came down with this feeling.
Kind of like the milk sick?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it could be this town. It's the worst I was ever in. They got a lady sheriff here, a real bobcat.
That's the one I aim to marry.
Oh, it's worse than I thought. Any use in fighting it?
No. Tried all spring.
But Ben, a gunfighter like you marrying up with a lady sheriff? What'll people say?
I know. That's where the favor comes in. See, she's running for a full term, 4 whole years. Now, if something isn't done about it, she's liable to get herself elected.
Yeah? Like what?
Like you show up at that saloon tomorrow at noon. She'll have to come after you. She said she would. That won't be any problem for you to take her. Maybe then she'll shuck off those pants and start acting like a woman again.
And you'll be there to protect her, won't you?
No. I'll make myself absent.
I feel like I'm handing you over to the Apaches, Ben. Are you sure you can't fight this thing?
Nah. Well, I even got the money for the honeymoon hearse safe right now. It's just this sheriff business that's holding things up. How about it?
Well, after what you did for me, how could I refuse?
Thanks, Billy.
Ben, I'll be there.
will Billy help his old friend who saved his life on the border a year ago, or will he double-cross him? But first, let's look in at the sheriff's office and see what Chris is doing.
Hello, Chris. How's the sheriff business?
Fine, thank you.
Chris, I've got to hand it to you the way you handle things. I wouldn't have thought it possible. So bold and bushy-tailed.
Just say what you have to say and be on your way. I'm busy.
Yes, I know. Actually, I've just come in to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm afraid so. My only regret is that I won't be here to vote for you. But before I go, I want to wish you all the luck in the world.
Go where?
St. Louis, Lindell Hotel. Shaw's Botanical Gardens. I think I mentioned all that before. I know now that I can't ask you to desert your post, your obligation to your fellow townspeople.
Billy Devers over in the saloon.
Can I, help you on with your guns?
No, thank you.
You look handsome.
Sheriff, Ma's got a hostile Indian cornered in the barn. She says for you to come quick.
I'll take care of the Indian, Chris. I'm going that way anyway.
Chris! Don't go in there. If I knowed you was going to do a fool thing like this, I wouldn't have sworn you in.
Out of my way, Judge.
But Chris, he's a killer.
There she is. High noon.
Right on schedule.
All right, Davies, it's 12 o'clock.
Well, now, Sheriff, I slept on it like I said, and I decided not to leave town. Now, what are you going to do about it?
I said out, and I meant out.
You really didn't think you were going to scare me out of town, did you? Woman trying to be a man. Big sheriff with a star. Well, now, you're not the sheriff. Now open a safe and put the money in the bar. Go on, move. Now, if any of the rest of you got any ideas about being heroes, don't.
Drop your gun, Davies.
Well, now that was real tricky of you, Sheriff. Had another gun stashed away.
Don't come any closer. Will she pull the trigger? Is she a big, tough sheriff, or just a woman after all?
You're not going to pull that trigger, ma'am? Nice lady like you wouldn't want to get blood on her hands, now would she? No, of course not. Big, tough sheriff. Now get me that money.
He's staying there for a while and sleeping off.
I don't know what you're up to, Ben, but Chris is in trouble with Devers.
Oh, don't worry, he won't hurt her.
Won't hurt her. He just shot Vic Trenton, now he's robbing the safe.
That polecat out.
Here, you better take this.
This is my gun.
I bought it the same night.
You knew all the time, huh?
Anybody steps outside of this saloon gets shot.
Drop those money bags, Billy.
Gus, he'll be killed. He doesn't know anything about guns.
Don't come near me, Ben. I'm heading for the strip.
You'll have to shoot your way past me, then.
Have it your way, Ben.
The inevitable gunfight on TV has grown longer and longer. However, if you've seen one gunfight, you've seen them all. So we thought we'd get this one over fast.
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Here's to you, Ben.
Hello, boys.
Oh, Chris.
How's Vic?
Man, that shirt he was wearing come all the way from Boston.
Drinks on the house, Joe. We've got to celebrate.
Celebrate what?
My resignation. I guess I just didn't have what it takes.
Miss Matthews, will you be my wife?
I was wrong about you, Ben, but I was right about us. I'm not selling the ace high to marry a tumbleweed.
All right, I'll be the sheriff.
All right, you two. Let's join hands. Ben Stockton, do you take this?
Ben Stockton, the gunfight?
Well, in between the beer and the cattle, and then again between the cattle and the buffaloes,
All right. We'll explain all that later. Ben Stockton, you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?
The gunfighter is now the sheriff, and the sheriff is back in her nice saloon. And so we take leave of the Old West and its majestic buffaloes, its white-faced cattle, and its red-faced Indians. I guess that was a case of a woman getting too big for her britches. It's a common failing. Happens to a lot of us. In more ways than one. Join us again next week. Good night.